Welcome back, toy fans. So today, I actually want to show my Borderlands collection of toys and collectibles. This should be fun. So this is the first Borderlands game. I actually picked this thing up for like, what, $5 at a local game store. So pretty cool. There's multiple versions of this game. There's 1, 2, 3, then there's a prequel, then there's a bunch of DLCs you can add on to. Number 1 is pretty good. Not my favorite. Number 2 is my favorite. Maya is my favorite female too in there. I like the Sirens. The Sirens are the mystical, energetic ladies in there, and supposedly you can have only 6 of them. But then later on you can find out you can have 7 of them in the universe itself. So, but this still was a fun game. I played as Lilith. Lilith is pretty much like the fire god type. So I had a lot of fun with this. This was actually a very fun playthrough. It was kind of boring because after you play number 2, then you play 3. It starts off like this game strictly is just in Pandora. Pandora is the world they're on, but you're only limited to certain parts of it. Then you go to the game number 2, which is actually Pandora all around. So you're pretty much going all over the planet, stuff like that too. Then game 3 is pretty much based where you're going to different planets. So over time, these games expand. So, but I had fun. I do like it because it uses your imagination. There's powers, there's guns, there's, little missions. There's funny stuff in here, serious stuff. So real quick, before we get in the collection, my buddy actually has other games and stuff. So, for example, you got Borderlands 2, right? Has add-ons, DLCs, all that fancy stuff. Pretty freaking cool. Next, the Handsome Jack collection. Remember I was talking about the prequel? Well, you got Borderlands 2 and the prequel in this game. So, the prequel is alright. I never finished it because I hate the fact you have to run around and, go after air and stuff like that too, but it's still part of the, the game and stuff, but yeah, and this is a steelbook for number 3. I remember, if I'm correct, we had to wait at GameStop at like midnight to get this or something when they released it. So, but it is very nice. Like I said, steelbook, nice. Borderlands 3. It was a fun game. Not really big with all the characters, so I actually maxed out with Zane because I like his little flying thing in there. So, and then Borderlands 2 was Maya because she's pretty much like a goddess type or whatever. Freaking amazing. So, but yeah, then Borderlands 1 was, of course, the other Siren, Lilith. So, all right. But yes, now we are going to get into the collection. So how I'm going to do the collection is I'm pretty much going to hold up a toy and kind of yap about it and stuff like that too. And at the very end of the video, I'll do some more video clips, pictures, and stuff like that, so you guys can actually see them better and stuff like that too. Because my setup's not really the greatest in here. I've got this little table right here, just so I have something to play with. But, all right. First up, this is a Funko Pop. Yes, Borderlands 3, Lilith, number 524. Not bad. Not bad. Of course, there's the rest of the collection in the back. So, like I said, she's probably one of the first popular characters, but I think Borderlands 2 is when everybody started getting known for the game. So, but I love that universe. It is amazing. Next up, we got a Borderlands 3 Maya. Yes. And you can see back there, you got Lilith. So they actually go as a set for Borderlands 3. So, pretty cool. Over here, from Borderlands 2, or just says Borderlands on it, but this is actually from Borderlands 2, and when Maya was introduced. She had shorter hair and stuff like that compared to number 3, where she had some of the longer hair. So, and sadly, she passed away in the game, which makes me sad, because like I said, she was my favorite. But this is pretty cool, 2019. And I believe I got most of this stuff. I believe I got pretty much all this stuff from GameStop, if I'm correct. So, and if I'm correct, there is a glow-in-the-dark version of Maya out there somewhere, and it's actually worth a few bucks. So, good luck finding that one. All right, so this is a set that kind of disappointed me because they discontinued making them. So I tried collecting these mini epics. So, and this is 0. I'm gonna open them up real quick. So So all these I already pre-opened. I originally did a video on all of them before, so that's why they're coming out the way they are. So I'm going to take Zero out and check him out. There's Zero right there. So this is actually from Borderlands 3, I believe. I tried playing him in Borderlands 2 a little bit. I didn't like his power right away, but as you level up, he gets better and better. So it's really freaking cool. He does have a stand, actually. Pull that out. Stand for it. All right, let's put that to the side. All right. So I do like his sword. It's stationary. These are little statues, so nothing posable with them and stuff like that too. Put the little stand on here. Put the little stand on here. Put the character onto the stand, like so. There's little peg holes, and voila. I think this is the one that didn't want to stay on the stand. So, but yeah, so I'm trying to stick them on the stand there. Little peg holes that do not want to line up. All right, nope. Nope. Yeah. But whatever. That's him. That's on a stand. I'm holding a stand though. So I do like him. He's very detailed. He has a bunch of little pouches and stuff going on. Almost like armored up. But he is like an assassin ninja type thing. He has like a teleportation, almost like an illusion going on there. So he's pretty badass. So, but he has in the game, he's more of a darker color though. So I do like the different take on it here. So he almost like he can do a chameleon thing going on or something like that. But that's freaking cool. So I'm gonna keep him on the stand there. But yeah, like I said, you can't see everything, but like at the end of the video, I'll do better views, better pictures of everything else. So, all right, another mini epic. This one, yeah. So right now, I'm showing off right now. I have 1 through 4, but I believe there's another box that has other ones. But there were supposed to be other characters coming out, but they just discontinued them. I don't understand why. And you can look for them. There was no prints or anything of them out. But there was another wave of them coming out. This is the first wave. Maybe they didn't sell. If you actually look up on like eBay, the resell of these things, they're very, very low. So, all right. Let's get her out of there. Stand up first. My little clear stand. Cool. All right. Put that here. All right. That's okay. And here we go. Here's Tiny Tina. Go and put her on her stand. I think she can actually fit on her stand good. Like they printed it good, so it fits on there. So all right, there we go. There she is. Her little rabbit ears. So in the game number 3, she became part of they call it the B team with like Briggs and Mordecai, some of the characters from the first game. So, but here she's holding her little bunny rabbit. Of course, she's known for her blowing stuff up and stuff. So you got the TNT over here, dynamite going on there. So, and yes, when you meet her in the second game, she's actually a little girl. This one, she's like of age almost. So she's more mouthy, more going on with her and stuff like that too. So little fun piece. So a lot of people love this character. She's kind of a psycho though, but to each their own, right? All right, next up. This is, of course, like I said, they're all floating in there and stuff like that too. So here is one of the bandits. So we're gonna go ahead and get this guy open real quick. So just drop one of his, just dropped his weapon. All right, there's the weapon, there's a stand. You like the fact they come with stands. I like characters that come with stands because sometimes when you try to pose stuff, they just want to fall over and stuff like that too. So, but especially like DC multiverse stuff, yeah, fun, right? All right. So, all right. Here we go. Here's our Psycho. Let's put him on the stand real quick. All right. Now he's a pretty looking buff. he has a little thing right here, his little club, but it's actually, it's actually broke. This one's actually broke, if you notice. But you can still put it in his hand, I believe. Just kind of let it rest. So there we go. So even though his club's broke right there, you can still make it look like he's holding it. So that kind of works out. That is a very detailed, kind of sharp too, so be careful with it. So see, he's holding it like a grenade too. So that's kind of, they like blowing things up. Okay, cool. And I do like the little knife there. That's really cool. Do like the mask. I saw a cosplayer once actually dressed like this guy, and he had the meat bicycle thing, you know, the blade with the what is it called, like an axe looking thing with a little bicycle wheel or whatever on it. Blades, obviously. Yeah, he looks pretty freaking cool. So, but anyways, this is what Borderlands is known for, is their psychos. So now there's female psychos, tinks, you know, they used to call them midgets. I don't know why they took that away or whatever, but because it offended people. But yes, so that's a little psycho. And of course, back here he has more. So pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Once they keep falling out, let's sit him down and move on. So out of all of them, this next one's my favorite. Probably favorite out of all my Borderlands stuff. So Maya. Love Maya. She has the potential to put a bubble around the whole world if she wanted to. If she, you know, mastered her powers and stuff. But she kind of went kind of young. So, but pretty much, spoiler alert if you never played the game, they siphoned her powers and pretty much made her non-existent anymore. So, all right. Let's get this out of here. She's actually standing on her stand right now. All right. Here's mine. So, like I said, this is from the third game. She got a little stand going on here. Let's see if we can actually. All right. So, it's one of the last ones I got from the set. So, I don't know if she was harder to find or they just didn't make them fast enough or whatever, but she finally came in the mail and stuff like that too. Got it. So, many epics, man. They're pretty cool. I do like the little glow there. If that glowed in the dark, that would be freaking cool or whatever though. But I like her hair, like the little hoodie thing going on there too. So, and it'd be cool for arms lit up too. But she has like this power of like she controls balls and stuff like that too, or like, you know, it's really freaking cool. So, but I do like that. Got her little flowing jacket going on there and stuff like that too. I'm just sad that, you know, she had to end, but she's my love of the Borderlands game. I do like Lilith too, but she was my love. Aww. So, it's okay. It's okay, guys. Right. All right, moving on. Speaking of love interests and stuff like that too. So, this is Creek. This is part where we're starting with the McFarlane toys. So, he's probably about 8 inches tall, give or take. So, get the little Borderlands thing there. But these guys were made in, I don't know, probably 2019. We get the little blade that turns there and stuff like that too. But he had a huge crush on Maya and stuff like that too. And him being a, you know, psycho kind of, I guess, turned it off. But there's clips where she's like interested in him because he shows different meaning of not being a psycho and showing like he wants to be a real person. But the way he talks and stuff, it just comes out. There's actually a DLC where you play as him and Maya comes back as a memory. And it's really freaking cool. So I think it's one of the, yeah, it's the Craig DLC in Borderlands 3. So, but he's a big old dude going on there. So he was pretty good. He's, like I said, he towers. He's tall, man. So, but I like him. He's a good dude. So, all right, let's try to put him out of the way over here. Not him falling over. All right. So moving on, I want to show off these real quick. This is a numbskull from 2019. This is the only statue of the type. You get the little Borderlands V going on down there, so we get too. But this is like the only statue of Borderlands that I could find in anything like that. So she's a little taller, probably about like 8 inches, give or take, about 8-9 inches. But it's cool. It's a cool little statue going on. So, but there wasn't not any other ones made that I could find. So I don't know if they just test ran with this or whatever, but yeah, this looks like she's actually set up because she has longer hair. Borderlands 3. So I think in Borderlands 3 is when they started pushing out more products, more toys and stuff. Borderlands 2 was just kind of there. You know, Borderlands 1, no one really knew about it. So, but yeah, Borderlands was a big brand. And you know, there's a movie coming out here, I think, at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that with her in it, you know, the cast pretty much from the first game. But we're going to see how it works. So I just hope they do the stories justice, though. But it's a cool statue. Nothing posable with it. Still get to. Pretty detailed. So, but yeah, remember, she's the leader of the freedom fighters, the resistance. So we're going to stick her over there. All right. Next up is another line, different statues. This is actually from Gearbox Software, actually. So the same licensing, obviously, same licensing of that statue. But this is a different one. So this is labeled with Gearbox in it. So you got this little statue thing going on. It doesn't move or anything like that. But you can take his little wheel axe and stuff out. So it doesn't spin or anything like that. It does have a sharp object. But like I said, you can take it out of his hand and stuff like that too. And it's pretty freaking cool. It's amazing. But I wish they made more of this. I like my little statues and stuff because they're easier to dust and stuff. But I also like the action figures because you can set up fight scenes, pose scenes, and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, he's pretty detailed though. And I believe I got him at GameStop as well. Like I said, I think I got most of the stuff from GameStop. So, all right, moving on. Another one from Gearbox, Little Claptrap. Everyone's favorite robot, right? Well, that's a pretty little detailed figurine right there. So. Get the little antenna there going on. So, but yeah, he's like the centerpiece in the front because he's so short for my little collection. But I do like it. Just crabbling on rocks and stuff. Remember, he's afraid of stairs. But the funny part is, if you actually play the first game, these guys can climb stairs. They're out to kill you. So there's a whole DLC based on claptraps where you have to fight a giant like claptrap tank and stuff. Oh my god, that was a pain in the rear, man. Whew. All right, moving on next. All right. Not sure if this was McFarlane or not. I'm pretty sure it was, but it's not tagged or anything like that. But probably one of the coolest villains ever was Handsome Jack. I love Handsome Jack because he has that business type, like sick personality, like, you know, not like a Lex Luthor or anything like that. He's just like, he's psychotic and he even like, you know, sacrificed his own daughter and stuff like that too. So, but I do like the gun there. It's almost like a classic gun there going on. And it's also a pain in the rear to put these weapons actually in their hands. So I have it in there. I'm just going to try to keep it there. So it does have this cool little stand here. It says Borderlands on it. So, but yeah. So you see his face. Got the normal face going on. Little Handsome Jack face going on. So, but that actually comes, speaking of which, so he does come with another face, which is branded. Whoop, look at that. Yes. And if I'm correct, they did that in the end of the first game, which I didn't see in the game, actually. So I don't know if it's a DLC or something like that I didn't get to or whatever. I did play as Lilith and beat the game or whatever. Then I wanted to go back and I accidentally deleted that profile. So if I wanted to play again, I have to start all over again. Because I was like, how do I get that back? But once it's done, right? And what's cool, too, is the key for the vaults. So this breaks into 3 pieces. Or whatever, but you put them together. Handsome Jack, it comes with Handsome Jack, so you can get that monster or the Destroyer or the Ender of Worlds and stuff like that too. So pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna jump into another Psycho. This Psycho, like I said, compared to Craig or Krieg, we're gonna call him. It's the size difference, yeah. So Krieg's a big dude, but you know he stands out. But this guy actually comes with a knife. You can actually take the knife off, put it back in there, or if you want, you probably stick it in his hand. So this one fist is just a straight fist with like little brass knuckles going on. But, you know, it's an action figure, so you can move it around. His little wheel can spin here, stuff the two. Get a little shiny there on his weapon. But he's usually just a basic Psycho. So he's not bad. I like him. Psychos are crazy. Meet bicycle. So, all right. Now, getting into probably my favorite action figure I have, actually, and first her stand came off, Lilith. Like I said, I just got done playing her, so there she is. I actually believe that's the pose from the first game or the second game. I don't know. she comes with a weapon too, which is kind of a pain. You actually have to pry her fingers open to get it in there. So if I move that gun, it's going to fall over just like Camps and Jax did. So if I do like her little fire hawk looking thing going on with her hair, like it just looks like she's, you know, it looks like a feather almost kind of going on there, or part of a wing. So, but she's a cool little figure. They didn't make a lot of these figures. They made a bunch of like different types of. There's a couple of psychos. There's a female psycho. There's other versions of characters, but they didn't really make like. I didn't see one for Zero. I didn't see one for Maya, because there was a Maya one. Of course, I jumped on it though. So I don't think they sold as well, as popular as the game was. So kind of broke people's hearts or whatever though. But if you remember though, as a spoiler, she actually gets her powers leached from her. So, and the twins actually in Borderlands 3 use their powers for teleportation and stuff like that too. So she pretty much just becomes a gun warrior for a while. But later on, gets her powers back at the end, and she's overpowered. She's overpowered. As the character, and she actually goes to space and like protects the moon or whatever it is that's falling apart. It was cool because you got the Phoenix logo going in there, so I like that. So, but yeah, she's probably one of my favorite action figures. So then, of course, where did I put them at? Uh-oh. I got two more. Oh, here we go. All right, so I got two more. I think that's everything, right? Plushies. Actual keychains. Here's Tiny Tina's little wabbit. Yes, little wabbit. Here, the claptrap. And they kind of hang just below the shelf or whatever, though. But they're numbskulls, too. Yeah. These were made in 2019. So 2019, I guess, is when they start producing this stuff like crazy. But also 2019 going into other years, I believe that's when the pandemic started happening. So maybe they just kind of shut down the operations because people are spending money on other stuff too. But yeah, kind of cute to have, especially if you're a Borderlands fan. So these are awesome. So anyways, that's my Borderlands stuff. So now I'm going to show up, like, get better up close pictures of them and stuff like that too. So hope you guys enjoy, and thank you. Well, guys, I hope you guys liked that little collection, this video. It was kind of long. I enjoyed it. Had a little fun. So, a little bit of rambling about Borderlands and stuff like that, too, anyways. Like I said, my favorite game is number 2, and Maya is my lovey-dovey. So, all right, guys, till next time, kitties, and tell me what game is your favorite, who's your favorite character, and what's your favorite storyline, and do you know about number 4?